Dear students, welcome to DM's classes. Today I will discuss the first poem written by William Wordsworth, and it is tested for the second year students of Arts, Science and Commerce streams by the Council of Higher Secondary Education, Odisha. Okay, and I will try to discuss every aspect of this poem so that you will be able to answer all the multiple choice type questions and the short questions that might come during the council examinations, annual examinations. So let us read. And it is my request to you all to subscribe to my channel to see all the episodes of this poem. Okay. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high over vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Now, let me tell you that William Wordsworth was one of the front-ranking nature poets of England during the Romantic Age. He had a great love for nature, and according to him, nature for him was a friend, a philosopher and a guide, which is quite explicit in this poem. The poem is having 4 stanzas, each having 6 lines. Each is a sestet following the same rhyme pattern. As I will go on discussing, I will discuss about them. And the first stanza, the poet tells us that just like a piece of cloud which is found floating over the valleys and hills. Similarly, the poet was wandering aimlessly without any purpose across the valley and on the hills, when suddenly at once he came across a large number of daffodils. Daffodils are bell-shaped, bright yellow colored flowers that bloom in the spring season. Now he came across a large number of daffodils. Where were they? They were found by the side of the lake, under the trees, and because there was a very mild, a gentle wind was blowing, therefore the touch of wind was making them move from side to side, made them flutter, which in the eyes of the poet, a nature lover, appeared to be dancing. Now, in the first line we have a simile. The poet compares himself with a single piece of cloud, and in the third line we have personification, where he says, I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils. It is an instance of another figure of speech, a personification. That means the poet sees the quality, the nature of the human beings in the flowers. The host of flowers appear to him just like a large congregation, a large number of people, and the moving of the flowers from side to side appear to him just like the dancing of people. Okay. Now, what is the rhyme scheme? The rhyme scheme is A, B, A, B, C, C. That means the first line, the last word of the first line rhymes with the last word of the third line. Second line matches with the fourth line, and the fifth and sixth lines produce the same sound. Okay, the same rhyme scheme is followed in almost all the 4 stanzas. Now, come to the second stanza. Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way, they stretched in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. Now, the poet is observing more and more of daffodils. Now, here another aspect of this poem, another very important thing about this poem is that it was not written by the poet instantly, then and there, while observing the flowers, while moving across the valley and the fields. This poem was written 2 years after their visit to this Woolswater area. Now, although the writer and his sister Dorothy visited this place in the year 1802, it was written by the poet in 1804. That means it is only a recollection. It is not face-to-face, eye-to-eye observation. Now, continuous as the stars that shine. First of all, both the writer and the sister saw only some few daffodils lying hither and thither, helter and skelter. But as they moved on, they found more and more daffodils. First of all, they saw some daffodils under the trees by the side of the lakes, and as they proceeded on and on, they found large number of endless daffodils as if they were planted one after another. And therefore, the poet compares the daffodils with the stars in the Milky Way. They were continuous. There was no gap in between the daffodils, as we find no gaps between the stars in the Milky Way in the sky. Now, continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way. The poet compares the daffodils, innumerable daffodils, with the uncountable stars. As the stars in the sky send out unsteady light, similarly, the flowers getting the toss of wind were unsteady. They were not constant, and they were moving just like the stars sending unsteady light. They stretched in never-ending line. Now, here we have an instance of an oxymoron, juxtaposition of opposite ideas. Although there were gaps, actually there were some gaps, but here the line and never-ending line. When we talk about a line, the line has an end, but here the never-ending line. Now, in the first line, continuous as the stars, there is another simile. The daffodils are compared with the stars in the sky, and here we have an example of another figure of speech, that is an oxymoron. Along the margin of a bay. First of all, they saw the daffodils by the side of the lake, then under the trees, and now they are viewing them on the margin of a bay. Bay, you know, a smaller sea, bay, along the side of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. And the daffodils which were found nearby the bay, near by a larger water body. How many were they? They were 10,000. Did the poet count it? No. Simply, it is an assumption. It is a guessing. He might have seen 10,000 at a single glance, at a single effort of the eye. Now, 10,000 saw I at a glance is another figure of speech which is called hyperbole. Talking too much about the number, the quality, the beauty of something, when we exaggerate it, tell too much about that number, that quality or the condition, that is called hyperbole. Actually, the poet did not see 10,000, did not count them, simply he guesses it. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. Wherever he went, he saw the dancing daffodils. Now, in the first stanza, we have discussed what made the daffodils dance. It was not that they were actually dancing, rather they are fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Gentle wind, slow moving wind made the daffodils dance in the first stanza. Now, in the second stanza, in the last line of the second stanza, what we see? They were moving up and down, bobbing their heads up and down. And this bobbing their heads up and down, moving their heads up and down, appeared to the poet as if they were dancing sprightly, vividly, as if they had a life and they were enjoying the dance. Now, why the poet uses tossing here and in the first stanza fluttering there? Now here, when we are talking about an open space nearby a sea, a larger water body, there is no hindrance, no obstruction for the blowing of wind. Therefore, the daffodils were disturbed violently, they were fluttered, and therefore this movement, up and down movement of the daffodils is said to be tossing. Okay. Now, in these two stanzas, we have discussed two similes in the first line of first stanza and the first line of the second stanza. And in the first stanza, we have personification, the poet comparing the daffodils with human beings, and just like human beings, they were moving from side to side and dancing. And similarly, in the second stanza, the poet uses the same word dancing, but in a better way, more lively way, together with an oxymoron and a hyperbole. Now, this much for today, this episode, and we'll continue the next two stanzas in the next episode. Okay, watch it.